Hello, Sosana with iCabinetry. I'm one of the designers here, been designing for about 5 years. We're doing the unboxing of our new Dura Supreme samples that we just received. We're very excited about bringing on Dura Supreme as a brand. Right now, we're looking at the contemporary finishes, which generally lead to the more modern kitchens and are on the Euro style cabinet, which is a frameless cabinet. My personal favorites are the matte TFLs or melamines. I think that they are very versatile in the style, and I think that you just don't see them all the time. So I think that's why I like them. Plus, I think they look really nice. You can get them in a variety of really beautiful colors. And as far as holding up in the kitchen, they're not going to get the fingerprints from the kids or the pets that you would get on the super high gloss. And for the acrylics, the important thing to know about these acrylic doors is that they're one of the strongest doors. If you just look at the thickness of that, the way that they make them makes them a very durable cabinet door. And these are very popular, particularly in this area in Southwest Florida, people that want a very modern, expensive look, I would say. For me, the fingerprints is what would draw me away from it, but I also just wanted to point out they offer 3 types of edge banding. You can get brushed foil, you can get solid foil, and then matching edge band. And they also offer a 2-tone option. So it's just another neat way to bring your personality into the cabinetry. One of the other ones they offered is like a brushed look. This only comes in the glossed look. They don't have it in matte. It's really nice. We've done a few kitchens in a similar door style to this, and seeing a full kitchen is also really brings it all to life. All right, so now we are checking out the wood stain and painted finishes from Dura Supreme. And I love a nice box. You can just keep this in your storage area, or if you're a builder or designer, this is easy to grab and go. I also love the detail, like when they do a beautiful little ornate detail on the samples. So the painted, they have a really beautiful selection of different paints, especially in those colors that are super popular right now, like the grays, greens, blues, and of course, off-whites, grays, and whites forever. And so I'm just going to show you a few of the blues and greens. Yeah, they're so pretty. I love that the greens are in right now. That's been my favorite color for a long time. And then, of course, they have a great selection of light grays, whites, and dark grays. I think Hetty, this is kind of the one that we've been getting a lot of requests for. White will always be in, and I think right now people are trying to go with off-whites, gray, things that are more in the beige, grayish family than the stark white. And then next, the stains. Let's see, they have them all labeled too with a nice little insert. So these are the maple stains. Alabaster, this is not natural. It's a little bit of a whitewashed, which is extremely popular right now in the oak. And for anyone wanting like an alternative to that, because white oak can be pretty expensive, this is a really beautiful finish in my opinion. So that's alabaster. And then of course the whole array of different stains for maple. And one thing that's important to know about maple is that there are characteristics that when you receive a sample might look like it's wrong to you, but it's just the way the wood takes the stain. And so really doing your research or talking to your cabinetry designer or expert and asking them, getting a physical sample in your hands, and then also asking the questions or making sure you see exactly what you're gonna get so you know. This is that alabaster again on white oak. So that is kind of like one of the most popular looks we're getting a lot of requests for right now. So it's nice to see. I feel like that's one thing about these brands that we're so fortunate to work with is they hear what people want and they try and make it happen. So white oak hasn't been on the market in a bunch of our brands, but because it's become so popular, they brought it back.
I just wanted to point out the difference between the natural maple and the alabaster maple, how pretty they both are, but I'm really in love with the alabaster. One other quick note is on any wood, if you use a natural stain, it's really just it's clear. So these variations in the wood, how you see the difference in color right there, those are going to be more pronounced when you use natural than if you were to use any of the stain. And obviously the darker stain you go, the less obvious these differences are.
They have a really good selection of colors. This is the first time I'm seeing all of the colors. We've seen them in the brochures and a few select samples, but haven't really gotten to see all the colors. And so this like specking is a characteristic of quarter sawn oak. So if someone were to see that, this is why it's important to get a door sample and to talk to a designer that knows what they're doing, because somebody might get this on their cabinets and think, oh, that's wrong. And it's not. It's actually a characteristic of the quarter sawn aspect of the wood, and it's really beautiful. And so if you either love it and love the look of natural wood, or you don't like it. So there's just good things to know about the cabinets that you're getting. Let's see. Next we have cherry. Another beautiful wood, definitely a specific taste. We have some builders and some beautiful mountain towns that love cherry. Seen a lot of beautiful kitchens done in cherry, but it's a specific look and it changes over time. So it's another good thing to talk to your designer about if you're thinking about cherry, is it will darken and redden over time. So the sample, even the cabinets that you get, the color might change over time. Here we go. Talk about cabinet. Hickory and rustic hickory. This is one of the most wild wood species there is, in my opinion. And man, I guess this one shows it the best right here. Hickory will range from the colors will just change drastically. So you'll have light and then it will go darker. And depending on the color of the stain, it'll take it more deep in certain areas. And it looks great in a rustic kitchen, even for like an accent piece, like you want to do your whole kitchen painted and then have one furniture like looking utility cabinet. You could do it, and if you wanted to throw in some wild wood. And then we have, of course, red oak. The grain is going to be different from the white oak because it's cut differently, and then the color is different, obviously. But the same. See, that's such a good sample for people to see, because the grain can be so different, and then the color of the wood changes, and that's, like I said, you either love it or it's not your style. Either way, that's okay. You just have to know what you're getting when you buy your cabinets. And last they have in here, knotty alder. Alder is like a good middle ground between maple and oak. The grain is less defined. But because this is knotty alder, you'll see pieces like this where they have the actual knots in the wood. But what a beautiful grain, in my opinion. I think that's just so pretty. We can offer sample sets like this, or we do customized iCabinetry sample sets for both builders, designers, contractors. And those are helpful for builders that are going to multiple jobs or that want to have the physical samples in their hand to show their clients. What we can do is send you, instead of having to buy the whole box of every single wood species and stain color, if you know your homeowner is wanting a certain look, we happily go through our samples and pull together all the ones that we think would be a good fit for them, and then we send them to you. So it's one of the benefits of working with iCabinetry, is that we have all these samples in stock. And if we don't, we can get them for you. And last, we have the glazes and specialty finishes. These are a very specific look if somebody's wanting paint, but maybe it's a little more of a traditional kitchen and they want an accent in there. These are great for that. Weathered is very textured. You can't I don't know if you can see it, but I can feel it. And I've actually, at a different manufacturer, we saw the way that they do this. And so the majority of these finishes are hand applied, especially when there's an option like leather, where you will see a human being with a brush scraping at different parts on the wood to give it this leather textured feel. So it's really beautiful. It's like, even though they're factory made cabinets, many of the brands have multi-steps in the process that are done by hand by a human being. And then the heirloom collection, that's these little specks. This is another thing that's generally done by a human with a little tool where they hit it at samples and give it that antique look, which I think is looks really neat in the right kitchen. These are the patina finish collection, and this is really unique. I haven't seen this in any of our other brands, but they've patinaed the edges of the cabinet to give it an aged look. And in the right kitchen, I feel like that would just pop and look really beautiful. Yeah, that's very neat. This is the first time I'm seeing pieces. And then some more paint with glaze. Oh, but these look like they're rubbed on differently than the other glazes. You can see there's a little bit of a texture. And again, this is something that would be hand done, which is really nice to have the type of furniture, cabinetry in your kitchen that you know was handmade with love in Minneapolis, Minnesota. All right, thanks so much for watching.